Adam Westall joins me now on Your Sport Swindon. Adam, thanks for joining me. The rugby season is fast approaching, and we didn't expect to see you putting your boots on this season because the rumours were you were going to retire. So what's changed?
Not a lot. 36 a couple of weeks back, and I think I'll fade away rather than retire. So we're going to give it another go for 12 months, which pretty much works out a season. So we're going to have a tough pre-season and feel fit. So touch wood. We're going to go another 9 months and see if we can be as competitive as we were last year.
Yeah, and looking at last year, it was a funny old season, really. You found yourselves in a relegation battle, and then you produced, just some absolutely outstanding form. So, what did you make of how it went?
It's a tough year. I mean, last year is the strongest the league's been since we've been up in South West 1. It's a credit to local rugby, sort of sides like Bassett joining us, Chippenham, and there's some good sort of regional sides around, so Windsor, that sort of area where all the lower end sides were really competitive, which in days gone by there's always 3 whipping boys in that league. We dogged it out. We started pretty poorly. Couldn't put a finger on it really, because the same boys that got us through the scrap at the end. So it was there all year. It's just a bit of time to gel. New structure, new captain. It's just different ways of doing things, and there's no point in trying to replicate what someone else has done. So we just tried to mix it up a bit, and it just took a while to settle in, I think. But after Christmas, there was some outstanding stuff.
And what are the aims this season?
We've got to keep on doing what we did at the end of last. We had a great sort of 3 months after Christmas, great team spirit, played some really nice rugby, and the boys come off at the end of the season when generally you're knackered and thinking, cross, I could do a break. And a lot of guys were still really keen. So, we've conditioned well over the summer. We just got to hit the ground running and try and play some of the rugby we've been playing in our pre-season friendlies would be nice.
Obviously a change in coach this year, but it was all planned, wasn't it? Because Sean was always going to walk. I think he stayed an extra season or two anyway than was expected. So Mike Panahu's coming in, and your thoughts on his appointment and what he'll bring to the club.
Yeah, I mean, I've played with Panas before, so I know exactly what he's about on the pitch, and a lot of good coaches take what they did there and build that into their coaching ethos, and he was with us last year. Forwards came on really nicely, new voice, which is always important, new captaincy, which is important. Obviously Sean's final year made it pretty good, and I like what he's doing out there at the moment. We've got some decent width and some new structure, which is what I like as a 10, so as long as we can keep doing it on a Saturday is the key really, so we'll see how we go.
And in terms of personnel, there's been a few changes. Some faces have left and some faces have come back to the club, and there's a few new signings as well. So talk to us about some of the major changes there.
So obviously Sean going back to Hartbury, we had a contingent of about 4 guys there that regularly travelled. We didn't see them as Hartbury students. They were just part of our makeup and had been for 4 years really. Sad to see them boys go, but we always knew what that was about. We were working in the background to rectify that, because obviously it's not great when a third of your first team can potentially walk away. Luckily we've had guys like Cam Brown, Jack Badminton, Tom Mannion come back into the fold, which is great, and they're guys that have been around the rugby club for the last 7 years really, and they've played a good standard, which has been really great for us. Dave Cox has come back into the mix. He was a first team regular for 4 or 5 years before he had a little bit of a sabbatical to have a young family and get that sorted, which we all know about. So those 4 or 5 guys have come back in and are probably more experienced than the guys we've lost. So I don't feel we're in a worse position. We're going to be a close knit squad, and that's when Swindon are at its strongest. I think when we're dogging it out for your mates really, and I think that's what we've got to really embrace for the next 9 months.
And we've only really spoken about the first team, but there's a lot of strength in depth in terms of the club this year, isn't there? With I think you've got a seconds and a thirds, and you've got a vets team this year as well. And
you mentioned vets, and I now qualify for vets, so that'll be an interesting from first team to vets in one foul swoop. But I think we've worked hard off the pitch. Amateur rugby's all about having fun, playing rugby with your mates, and we just try and bring a professional ethos to it. So the seconds and thirds add massively to that, because we can't try and do what we want to do with our flagship team without those boys being involved. And our bar's open 7 days a week. They're the guys that are generally in here drinking and having a crack really. So we've worked really hard to keep that, and we've picked up a few boys in that neck of the woods, have come across and signed from other clubs. So we'll continue to be very social and have a good time with them lads as well.
And off the pitch, quite a few changes as well with a function room and a few improvements to the clubhouse. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so we're working hard. I mean, traditionally we've not probably had the best facility, and it's not going to be the Ritz by any means. But we have a very good time down here. The atmosphere is very good. It's a family club for kids, pets, dogs. The whole shooting match comes down and has a good time. So we've just tried to make the facility for hire a little bit fresher. People still have a great time in there, and hopefully we can start to see some fruition of that, and that will work towards making the club a more financially stable place.
And finally, we'll come back to you. Is this going to be your final season, or are you still undecided?
Never say never. Yeah, I think I wouldn't say. I'm going to play as long as I'm competitive. There's some good guys out there. Cam Brown's a great 10. He's playing at 12 at the moment, and we work very nicely together. There's two distributing backs there. As long as I feel I'm being competitive and I'm not showing myself up, I'm going to chuck my hat in the ring for another season.
You must still be enjoying it.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, I think it's been part of my DNA for 20 years. It's very difficult to. I'm not sure my wife would like it if I retired, because she would be at loose end with me. So I think I'm going to just keep going and help develop this side to its true potential, because I do think we're going to have a good year. Bit of luck involved, touch wood, but we're going to go hard at it.
Well, we're looking forward to the start of the season. We're glad that you're still playing as well. Looking forward to seeing you out there, and best of luck for the season ahead. Cheers, Adam. Top man.